everyone. So today we will discuss right now in lesson 3, and the topic focus on proof of theorems on rectangle, rhombus, and square. So the following activities that we have right now involves the three special types of parallelogram, which are these are rectangle, rhombus, and square. So this will lead us to the different theorems involved the three types of parallelogram. So basically, we have four theorems here. We have the theorem 1, 2, 3, and 4. Para maintindihan po natin ng maayos, isa-isahin po natin yung theorem na ito. Okay? First one, we have theorem 1. So, before we start, by the way, I'll give you the objectives first. So, ang goal po natin dito is to know how to prove, provide a statement, and also provide the result. So, more on proving. Okay? So, let's continue. Proceed tayo sa theorem number 1. So, if a parallelogram has a right angle, then it has four right angles. Okay? And the parallelogram is a rectangle. So basically, if yung parallelogram natin is meron tayong nakitang right angle, then it has four right angles. So if they have four right angles, therefore, this parallelogram is what we call a rectangle. So here's the problem. So given the rectangle name wins, which is W, I, and S, is parallelogram with which angle W is a right angle. So prove that uh, rectangle wins or parallelogram wins is a rectangle. So given the figure, ito yung figure natin. So we have W, I, and S. Then we have the given na yung angle W is a right angle. Remember, pag yung right angle or makakita po tayo ng symbol na ganito, which is right angle, that is equivalent to 90 degree. Okay? Now let's try to prove that this parallelogram W, I, and S is a rectangle. So let's begin with this first statement. Okay? So first statement, the parallelogram wins is a parallelogram with which W or angle W is a right angle. So if you observe with our first statement, the reason for this one is already given. So yung sagot natin dito is given. Kasi if you observe with our problem, nandun na siya sa ating given. Another example or another proof na hanapin natin or statement na hanapin natin sa ating problem is we have angle W is a right angle. So if you check yung nasa given natin, the angle W is a right angle. So therefore, yung reason natin is also given. Now, when it comes to writing a proof or proving, you make sure na yung first statement mo or yung second statement mo is connected sa first statement. Same goes to third statement, fourth, until you prove that the given problem is correct. Let's say, for example, another one is we have the third statement, wherein the angle W based from the given natin dito we say na yung angle W natin is equal to 90 degree, right? So this means that the reason that angle W is equal to 90 degree, the reason for this one is um, definition of a right angle. Remember, ano yung definition ng right angle natin? Pag right angle, it measures 90 degree. So therefore, yung statement number 3 natin, ang reason will be right angle. Okay? Now, another, you have to observe with the given na yung angle W natin is kaharap niya si angle N, which is this one. Tama? That is a mirror. While si angle S then is also opposite to angle I. So this means we can create a statement, yung fourth statement natin, wherein yung angle W is congruent. Pag sinabi natin congruent, equal kay N, and si angle S natin is also congruent to angle I. So what have you observed? Ano yung na-observe natin? So yung W daw natin is congruent daw kay N. Ano yung possible reason natin dyan? So that is, in a parallelogram or in quadrilateral, let's say, in a parallelogram, okay, opposite angles are congruent. I've already mentioned the answer kanina. Opposite angles are congruent. So this is erased. Opposite angles are congruent. So this means they are equal. Kung ano yung measure ni W dito, same din measure ni N. Ano yung measure ni S, same din yung measure ni I. Okay? Next, we have, okay, yung reason natin. Next reason or statement natin will be, ano pa? Number 5. Kasi hindi pa natin na proof. So number 5 natin, we can say na WN or measure of angle N is also equal to 90 degree. Bakit? Remember that this statement, yung statement number 5 natin is connected kay statement number 4 and also connected to statement number 3. So the reason will be what? This is a transitive property. Okay? So basically, you just have to recall ano yung mga topic niyo during your grade 8. So pag sinabi natin transitive property, for any real numbers of x, y, and z, if x is equal to y and y is equal to z, therefore, si x at saka si z are both equal. So basically, kung si w is equal to 90, therefore, si n then, or angle n is also equal to 90. And that is transitive. Okay? Another statement, we have number 6. So we can say that measure of angle W plus measure of angle S, or let's say angle I na lang. Measure of angle I is equal to 180 degree. Okay, bucket. So the reason for this one is in parallelogram, in a parallelogram, adjacent angle are supplementary. Okay? Pag sinabi natin na supplementary, my dear students, supplementary. Okay? Pag sinabi natin na supplementary, it states that these two angles, if you add these two angles, that is equal to 180 degree. So basically, if you add these two angles here, this one, if this is 90 degree, this is also 90 degree. So if you add these two angle, 90 plus 90, so the answer will be 180. And that is the definition of supplementary angle. Okay? Another, we can also say that angle, remember, on our fourth statement, based from our number 6. So state here na si angle I daw at saka si W is also equal to 90. Now remember na pag si W is equal to 90, so therefore si I then is equal to 90. So in this case, pwede tayo maka-create ng statement wherein yung ka-7 statement natin wherein si angle S, okay, si angle S natin or si measure of angle I is equal to 90 degree. And that is a definition of subtraction property. Bakit? So, to identify the value of I based from our 6th statement, okay, number 6 natin, since we have idea na yung measure angle W is equal to 90, so you just have to subtract 180 minus 90. So therefore, yung I natin is also equal to 90. Kuha. Okay. Then, followed by 8 statement. Ika 8 natin. So, we have measure of angle S that is equal also to 90 degree. Now remember na yung si I po natin based sa number 4 statement, si I or angle I is also congruent to angle S. So this means with the guidance of statement number 7, if si I is equal to 90, therefore si S is also equal to 90. So what will be the possible explanation or reason for this one? So yung reason po natin dito, my dear student, will be transitive property. Okay? Yun lang. Then, followed by our 9th definition. So, based from our statement from 1 to 8, we all know that those angle, which is yung angle I natin, angle N, angle S, and angle W are what? Since 90 degree, are right angles. Okay? So, basically, reason natin dito will be the definition of a right angle since they are both equal to 90 degree. So, we're almost done. Remember, na-prove po natin lahat ng angles are 90 degree. So therefore, yung final statement natin, the parallelogram W, I, and S is a rectangle. So ano yung definition nito? Will be definition of a rectangle. And that's how you prove the given problem. So basically, ito yung activity po natin is wala po tayong um, solving or yeah, solving. All you have to do is just prove. Provide the statement and you have to provide also the result. And that's it. Okay? Then we will proceed to the second theorem. Now, let's proceed to theorem number two. So in theorem number two state here that the, dia- the diagonal of a rectangle are congruent. So basically, pag sinabi po natin diagonal, ito yung line na nagka-cut ng isang parallelogram. For example, yung line na to, this one here, papunta dito, that is an example of diagonal. And from point S to point I, that is an example of diagonal. Okay? So basically, pag sinabi natin diagonal, pag nag-cut ito ng isang parallelogram, then that is diagonal. Okay? So, now given we have the parallelogram WINS is a rectangle with diagonal WN and SI. So yung WN natin is yun yung tinatawag natin diagonal. Now let's try to prove that WN is equal to SI. Okay? Now we have here the statement. You can pause this video and write the given in your scratch notebook. Okay. Then we have here the statement. We already have the given. All you have to do is just complete the statement. You can pause this one and try to answer. All right. Now let's try to identify the possible solution of the given problem. So basically, yung statement natin, the first reason is given. So ano yung sabi ko yung una, dapat obserbahan nyo kung ano yung nasa given. Kasi yun yung magiging first statement mo. Yun yung magiging first guide mo for the following statement. So in this case, ang answer po natin dito will be the parallelogram WINS, okay? WINS is a rectangle with diagonals line WN and SI. Yun. Yun yung magiging given natin. Okay? So based from our given, we can create our second statement, which is yung second statement natin, the WN is equal daw or congruent to line IN. So if you observe sa ating uh, given or yung diagram natin, the WN, itong WN natin from point this one to here is equal daw siya kay IN. Okay? I know, that's supposedly WS, not WN. Sorry. So, WS natin, this one, point W2 papuntang S is equal daw kay I at saka N. Remember the definition. So, yung reason natin dito will be in opposite sides, rather, we can write that opposite sides ma-erase. Okay? Opposite sides of a rectangle are congruent. So basically, kung ano yung measure dito na side, that is also the same measure dito na side. Yung measure ng WS natin is the same measure sa IN. Okay? Now, let's proceed with our third statement kasi connected man din yung third statement sa ating second statement. If we say angle WSN, so ibig sabihin yung S yung nasa gitna. So meaning to say, yung focus natin is dito na angle, dito na part. Okay? So angle WSN and angle INS, which is this one, dito na angle, are right angle. So basically, ano yung na-observe ninyo? Yung possible reason natin sa given. So that is definition of a rectangle. Bakit? Remember the definition of a rectangle. If this is 90 degree, a right angle is 90 degree. This one is also a right angle, which is 90 degree. So that is belong to the definition of a rectangle. Remember sa first problem natin, pag meron tayong rectangle, all angles are measured 90 degree. Okay? How about number 4, the fourth statement? So we have here yung reason natin, all right angles are congruent. What do you think? All right angles daw are congruent. So make sure if you create the statement 4, you have to observe ano yung nandun sa statement number 3. So ano yung nakita nyo dyan? So that is a measure or angle WSN is congruent, okay, to angle INS. Kasi sabi dito, all right angles are congruent, and we mentioned from our third statement that WSN or angle WSN and angle INS are right angle. So this will be our guide to identify the statement for number 4. Okay? How about number 5? So, line SN is also equal to NS. Ano nga yung property na parang mirror mo lang? Parang nakasalamin ka lang. For example, is yung face nyo. So that is reflexive property. Okay? So, gibaliktad lang. Si NS is equal to NS or SN. So, that is reflexive property. How about the SAS congruent postulate? Pag sinabi natin SAS congruent postulate, what do you think about it? Ano yung nasa utak niyo when you heard SAS congruent postulate? Pag sinabi natin SAS, that is side, angle, side. Ibig sabihin, yung angle is nasa gitna and yung dalawang S, those are side. Okay. Pag sinabi natin SAS congruence postulate, state that two triangles are congruent if the two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent. So if you observe with our given problem, o yung given triangle natin, if na-cut po natin yung rectangle natin into 1, so how many triangles get? That is 2, which is triangle IWS or triangle INS. So this means in our answer, so number 6 will be triangle. Yun yung, oops, that one. It's not hard. So that is a triangle WSN is congruent to triangle I, and S. Yun yung magiging SAS natin. Always remember yung SAS natin, that is side angle side. So, ibig sabihin, uh, two triangles are congruent if two sides and the included angle of one triangles are congruent to the corresponding two sides and the included angle of the second triangle. Okay? Now, in this part, we're actually finished sa ating problem. We need to prove that WN or line WN is equal to line IS. Remember yung WN natin based sa diagram natin, yun yung mga diagonal. So the possible reason for this one will be C, P, C, P, C. Ano ibig sabihin ng CP, CP, C? That is corresponding side of corresponding side of dyan, corresponding sides of congruent triangles are congruents are congruent rather. Okay, that is the definition of C, P, C, T, C. Corresponding sides of congruent triangles are congruent. So, ibig sabihin, ito na side dito na part, yung WN natin, your line WN, is congruent or corresponding congruent side of SI or IS. Okay? And that is the theorem number 2. Okay? Now, we will move on to theorem number 3. Okay, so here in theorem number 3, state here that the diagonal of a rhombus are perpendicular. So pag sinabi po natin perpendicular, we make sure na yung dalawang line meet and they will create 90 degree. For example, if we have two lines here, we have the x-axis and we also have the y-axis. So once they meet, so this two angles here, this one is 90 degree, this one is also 90 degree, and this one is 90 degree, and this one 90 degree. So, general saying, pag sinabi natin perpendicular, it creates or alignments and creates a 90 degree. Okay. Now, given we have the rhombus named Rose. So R-O-S-E. And RS is perpendicular to OE. And H here, yung point H natin is the intersection or where the two lines intersect or bisect. Pag sinabi nating bisect, doon sila nagkita. Okay? Now, we have here the first or the statement and also the reason. So you can pause this video and copy the problem. Alright, now let's proceed with providing the missing or provide missing information based from our statement and also the reason. Now, if you observe sa ating given, so sa reason natin, we have the given. So, of course, yung sabi ko kanina, you have to observe ano yung nasa given natin. So, yung given natin will be a rhombus. Yung name ng rhombus natin, that is rose or R-O-S-E. Okay? Now, the second statement will be a guide for you or the first statement is a guide for your second statement para ma-identify mo ano yung reason or ano yung possible statement mo. So, if you check, we have the angle OS, I know, line OS and line RO. So, if you observe, ito yung mga line na nasa top ng rhombus natin at nasa bottom. So, if you going to provide the reason and yeah, provide the reason. So, basically, ito yung magiging definition of rhombus. Definition of rhombus. Pag sinabi natin definition of rhombus, all sides of a rhombus are congruent. So, ibig sabihin, all is, sulat ko na dito, all sides are congruent. Pag sinabi natin all sides are congruent, ibig sabihin, kung ano yung measure ng OS, that is the same measure ng RO. Or ano yung measure ng RE, dun din yung measure ng OS. So, they are both equal. Now, how about sa number 3 natin? So, given the reason na we have the diagonal of a parallelogram bisect each other. So, ano yung sabi ko kanina? Bisect each other. So, that is line, diagonal. So, yun yung line na nag-cut ng parallelogram. Ano yung line na nag-cut ng parallelogram natin? That is line RS and line, ano pa? EO. Right? And this means line RS and line EO bisect each other. Okay? Now, how about the number 4 natin? So, we have angle RHO and we also have angle SHO. Remember, kung ano yung letter na nasa gitna ng given angle natin, yun yung magiging focus ng angle. So, let's say, yung angle H natin is nasa gitna, same with dito sa kabila, angle H is nasa gitna. What do you think the possible reason? Ano nga yung first statement natin? That is C, P, C, P, C. Ano ibig sabihin niya? That is corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Kung ano yung part sa isang triangle na nandun din sa ibang triangle, then they are congruent. Okay? So, if you observe sa statement natin number 4, since we shared one angle, which is yung angle H natin, so therefore, we can apply the CPCTC. Again, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Now, how about sa number 5 natin, or statement number 5? State here that we have angle RHO and angle SHO are right angles. So what will be the possible reason for this one? Angle RHO and angle R or SHO are right angle. So we can create, or we can say that angle RHO and angle SHO form a linear, or form a linear pair. Okay, so basically, if you observe with our given rhombus, yung RHO natin at saka yung SHO, it creates right angles. Okay, And if they create right angles, then therefore they are linear pair. Okay? How about number 6? What is our goal now? Is we have to prove that RS and um, line OE are both perpendicular. So therefore, yung statement natin na isulat dito will be RS is perpendicular to OE. So remember yung definition of perpendicular? Or, yeah, perpendicular line meet to form right angle. Pag sinabing right angle, those are the angle measure 90 degree. Okay, and this is the example of our theorem number 3. Okay, and let's proceed with the last theorem, which is theorem number 4. All right, so let's continue. Let's proceed to theorem number 4. So sa theorem number 4, state here that each diagonal of a rhombus bisects opposite angle. Again, theorem number 4 state that each diagonal of rhombus bisect opposite angle. So given we have a rhombus of VWXY, we have to prove that angle 1 is equal to angle 2 and angle 3 is also equal to angle 4. Okay, so we have here the statement and also the reason. Kasi ito yung problem natin. Alright, so we have this one. So, given, so statement number 1 natin, since yung reason is given, so ano yung nakita niyo sa problem natin, yun yung ang isulat. So, for example, we have rhombus VWXY. Since yun yung given, okay? Huwag na pahirapan. Alright? Now, let's proceed to number 2. So, yung number 2 natin, let's state here that yung line YV is equal to line VW. So, itong line YV is also equal to line VW. And si WX is also equal daw kay XY. So, what will be the possible reason for statement number 2? So, if you observe, ano yung definition nga ni rhombus? All sides are congruent. So, this means if si YV or line YV is equal daw kay VW or si WX is also equal kay XY. So, this means ang possible reason natin will be definition of a or definition of rhombus. Okay? Now, how about sa statement number 3? Okay? Meron na po tayong reason na yung reason natin is reflexive property. What do you think if you observe with our diagram, ano na yung possible na reflexive property natin dyan? That will be line WY or ano pa? Line WY. Okay? Itong line WY is congruent to line W or YW. Kasi yun yung magiging use natin para this two angles are congruent. Okay? Now, how about for statement number 4? State here na meron tayong triangle YVW. So, itong triangle YVW, ito na sign. Triangle YVW is equal daw or congruent, rather, as congruent to WXY. So remember, we're focusing on the side. So the property that we can use here is side, 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 congruence, okay? Congruence postulate. Since nag-focus man lang tayo sa side, so ito yung postulate na gagamitin natin. Ano nga yung SSS natin? That is side, 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 congruence postulate. Meaning, if these two triangles shares one sides that are congruent, then these two triangles are both congruent. Okay, so if you check here, the line which is y at saka w, they shared with these two triangle. Okay, so therefore that will be our um, solution or reason. All right, now in this part, based from our statement number 4, we can now conclude that angle 1, this is this one, angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent, and angle 3 and angle 4 are also congruent by applying the rule of C, P, C, T, C. Ibig sabihin, that is a corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So if you check sa solution natin, those statement are connected. And also the reason is may depend on your statement. So, madaling salita, for you to create the statement, you have to observe ano yung first statement mo. And followed by the second statement until ma-prove mo na yung angle 1 is equal to angle 2 and angle 3 is equal to angle 4. Okay? And that is the process of our lesson for today, which focus on the theorem or focus on the proof of theorems on rectangles, rhombus, and square. So I hope that you learned something new about our topic for today. Goodbye, everyone, and take care. Thank you.